Up next on Channel 6 News, it's the principal of the thing, and she's not going to give up until she gets some answers. A Schenectady car accident leads to a wild ride with one man clinging for his life to a moving van. And rock didn't rattle and roll the heartland alone. The Capital District had a whole lot of shaking going on, too. Meet a local radio legend who spun the platters that mattered, next on Channel 6.
Now, the #1 news station in the Capital Region. This is Channel 6 News at 11.
Good evening. A school administrator who had her principal's job suddenly taken away from her says she was treated unfairly. And as Tom Langford reports, she's now asking for her job back and some answers.
For about 3 years, Marzella Irving was principal at Troy's school #2. But last month, she got this letter immediately transferring her to the vice principal job at school 14.
It was so sudden.
Everything happened within days and seemingly without reason.
I just want to know why, if they can fully explain how all this happened so fast without due process.
And they're throwing her in front of the bus here for their own political scores to settle here. This is a woman that has worked in the district for 21 years, the last 6 as administrator. She deserves a lot better treatment than to just be yanked off stage with a hook like this.
District administrators say Irving's transfer to school 14 was an administrative decision, and they point out that Irving did not lose pay, benefits, or tenure. In a written statement, the district lawyer says over the past approximately 5 years, there have been over 12 similar transfers, including transfers from the position of principal to assistant principal. But Irving is the only African-American administrator in the district. That has some crying racism. But the district lawyer writes, the administration and the board submit that this, meaning racism, is baseless. All decisions in the district are made on legitimate business and educational grounds to best meet the needs of our students.
If it wasn't race, fine, but then they have to have more sensitivity.
Sensitivity towards a woman who spent her entire career in the Troy district, a career that Irving hopes will continue with her old job as school 2 principal.
I'm a very spiritual lady, and I do believe that if there's been something unjustly done, that it should be rectified.
In Troy, Tom Langford, Channel 6 News.
2 Schenectady men are under arrest tonight after an early morning confrontation on the thruway. 34-year-old Tracy Varon and 36-year-old Luis Martinez both face a host of charges, including reckless endangerment, after police say their minivan hit a car at the Schenectady interchange but did not pull over. A passenger in the car that was struck got out to tell Varon and Martinez to pull over. Well, Varon refused and took off while the other man clung to the van as Varon cruised at speeds of over 40 miles an hour. After being punched in the chest and face, the victim fell off the van, injuring his face and hands. He was taken to Ellis Hospital. The state police say, as this case shows, taking the law into your own hands can be dangerous.
The gentleman who clung to the side of the vehicle is very lucky he didn't die. And when people do something like this, you see just how precious life is. 40 miles an hour down 890. I mean, all he had to do was bang his head on a guide rail or something like that when he fell off instead of falling off into a grassy area. And he'd probably be dead right now.
Varon and Martinez are now being held in the Schenectady County Jail. Amsterdam police rushed to a corner in the city after a report of a suspicious box with wires coming out of it. That was at the corner of Guy Park and Brant Place. The initial fear was that it might be a bomb. Amsterdam and state police checked it out with bomb-sniffing dogs, dismantled the package, and found it was not a bomb. They believe whoever made it wanted that to be the impression. The investigation is continuing tonight. State police in Stillwater are trying to determine if a Schuylerville man's heart attack was the result or the cause of an accident this afternoon. 76-year-old Vincent Gorski drove off Route 4 into a field just after 12 o'clock. He was later pronounced dead of a heart attack at Saratoga Hospital. But investigators don't know if he died before or after the accident. A Latham man who had dedicated his life to a cross-country run in his brother's name died this past week. Don Vincent began his run across America in August of 1998 as a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society after his brother Francis died of cancer. But the Korean War veteran was sidelined by illness in Colorado only weeks before completing his run. He died Friday at his Colony home. Vincent was 67 years old. Another presidential candidate will be making a swing through upstate New York this week. Conservative commentator and Reform Party candidate Pat Buchanan will attend events in Buffalo and Rochester on Monday. He'll then be in the Capital Region Tuesday, where he'll headline a reception at the Best Western Albany Airport Inn on Wolf Road, and that begins at 6:30. A multi-faith memorial service was held for the victims of the Egypt Air 990 crash today. Searchers and the people of Rhode Island joined to comfort the victims' families, and President Clinton sent a letter of sympathy. 217 people died when the jumbo jet crashed into the ocean last Saturday. One body has been recovered. The effort to retrieve the jet's black boxes may bear fruit tomorrow if the weather and a new deep-sea search robot cooperate. Well, now time for a first look at what could be a cool fall forecast. Here's Steve Hammes.
And it is cold outside tonight already. Temperatures down into the low 30s in most locations. And after you factor in the winds out there, wind chills are down in the teens in most instances. It's 33 in Albany right now, as well as in Glens Falls. Look at this, 25 right now in Elmira. So this will be the coldest night so far of the season coming up tonight. Satellite picture right now, we have variably cloudy skies. You can see the broken nature of the clouds. Everything rotating around an area of low pressure. Those cold northwesterly winds circulate in this unstable air, and that keeps the clouds in here from time to time. Your forecast then for tomorrow, once again, a mix of sun and clouds, very similar to today. High temperatures only in the mid-40s once again. It will be cold, but not as windy as today, so perhaps not feeling quite as cool. Now, these temperatures will begin to moderate just a bit by Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll have more on that forecast coming up in a few minutes. MB?
All right, thank you, Steve. A chance to help charities both here and abroad brought out walkers to Waterville today. This is the 100th anniversary of the St. Peter Armenian Church in Albany, and there was a young person walking for every year of the church's existence here in the Capital Region. The money raised goes to Capital District charities and various charities in Armenia. Hundreds of brides and grooms-to-be took a different sort of walk down the aisle in Albany today. Couples strolled the aisles of a bridal fair at the Pepsi Arena. The fair offered everything you need to plan the perfect nuptials, from tuxedos to cakes to flowers. It gave aspiring brides and grooms a chance to sample wedding services from all over the Capital Region. And it was a day for pets to put on the dog and their best face to get their pictures taken. The 6th annual Petography fundraiser had animal-loving shutterbugs hard at work at the Parkside Veterinary Hospital in Albany. The day is a fundraiser for the Mohawk and Hudson Humane Society. Last year's event brought in over $1,500 for the society.
Channel 6 News is everywhere. Coming up next.
We'll shake, rattle, and roll with a rock and roll legend. Stay tuned.
Channel 6 closed captioning for the hearing impaired is underwritten by your local upstate Ford dealer. This segment of Channel 6 News is brought to you by Culligan.
You're watching Mary Beth Wenger and your forecast with Steve Hammes. This is Channel 6 News at 11.
If you watched part 1 of Shake, Rattle, and Roll on Channel 6 tonight, you might be interested to know there was a pretty hot rock and roll scene right here in the Capital District back in the late 50s and early 60s. The year was 1961. Radio DJ Boom Boom Branigan hit the Capital District music scene, and it was never the same.
I became the best friend their ears ever had. And, every night sounded like New Year's Eve at the Nut House.
Branigan became the stuff of legend as rock and roll was taking off, broadcasting for powerhouse AM station WPTR. On a good night, with signal skips, their 50,000 watts of power could be heard as far away as Alaska, Boston, and New Jersey.
I'd say things like, from Alaska to the Amazon, from Boston to the Baghdad, nobody makes a nicer noise than Boom Boom Branigan on WPTR.
Boom Boom worked 6 days a week. When he wasn't spinning records and tales on air, he was presiding over sock hops and parties.
The Capital District certainly was a factor in rock and roll.
Local musicians grooved on the scene so much they didn't worry about the big time.
We loved music so much that we made stars of the local bands as well as, breakout hits. As a result of this, these guys didn't go to the big cities to become bigger stars. They were happy and as being adulated here.
Not that the biggest national stars were all talent, mind you.
It's kind of well known that you didn't have to really be talented to make it then. Maybe that's indicative of what kind of a time it was. If you could look halfway decent and could carry a guitar, you didn't even have to play it, you could become a star.
So were DJs the star makers?
We didn't make the hits. We didn't make the hits. I think the bows we take that we got on them soon and played them often enough, you'd kill to break a record first. I mean, get a little 1 hour play ahead of the other one when it came to the Beatles or the Stones and so forth.
Over the years, tunes on AM radio gave way to talk. But for Boom Boom, music, radio, and the Capital District are inseparable.
People in this market are still very much in love with radio and music, and whatever happens to the beast, we'll be right there.
Part 2 of Shake, Rattle, and Roll airs Wednesday night right here on Channel 6. Well, you might shake from the cold in tomorrow's weather. Steve Hammes will rattle and roll over here with the forecast now.
Mary Beth will be grooving into some very cold weather as we move into the upcoming work week, and then a moderate warm-up for Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll have the full details for you coming up next.
And now, your Storm Team 6 forecast with Steve Hammes.
Well, it was a cold and blustery day today. We only made it up to 44 for the high temperature. And the overnight low last night dropped down to 33. The normals now for this time of the year, the averages are 53 and 34. And it was a dry day across the capital region today with nothing more than perhaps a few flurries across the western Adirondacks. High temperatures today generally only in the 30s and 40s here across New York State, 40s and 50s as you work your way a little bit further to the south. And then in the 60s and 70s all the way down into the deep south. 32 outside right now under clear to partly cloudy conditions. Winds are out of the northwest at 8 miles per hour. The pressure is high at 30.20 inches. And the temperature readings out there are cold. We've got 34 in Glens Falls right now. We've got 36 degrees in Poughkeepsie, 38 in New York, and we've got 31 in Rochester and 34 degrees out in Buffalo. Satellite picture right now keeps the clouds kind of variable here across New York State. They continue to circulate around an area of low pressure north of New York State. And as these clouds and this cold air continues to circulate around, it may touch off a few flurries across the western Mohawk Valley and portions of the Green Mountains. As a matter of fact, at Mount Washington right now, they're reporting blowing snow with wind chills at some 45 degrees below zero. On the surface right now, we've got an area of high pressure working its way a little bit closer to us from the west. This high pressure will move a little bit closer to us tomorrow, but still, the pressure gradient between that low and this high is pretty tight. So we've got those blustery conditions out there, but the winds will be relaxing some coming in here for tomorrow. And the warm weather that's out west, we will be tapping into just a little bit of a taste of this coming up for Tuesday and Wednesday. And I'm talking about temperatures moving back up into the 50s and out of the 40s, so nothing all too warm. National radar right now, you can see most of the country is dry once again. We do have another storm system working their way out into the west coast towards California, Oregon, and Washington. And then it looks like most of this is just virga here, none of this really making its way to the ground, besides the fact that there might be a few scattered flurries across portions of New York and New England tonight. Your forecast map for tomorrow. Once again, it's going to be a cold day. High temperatures similar to what we saw today, mid-40s for highs. The winds will be relaxed some tomorrow. The high pressure to our north and to our south will keep things with a mix of sun and clouds. This frontal system gets a little bit closer to us, though, coming up on Tuesday, increasing our clouds just a bit, and then by Wednesday we may see some showers from that. But also behind this frontal system we've got warmer temperatures, so the temperatures should be warming just a bit by that point. Forecast high temperatures for tomorrow look like this, and I'm going to ditch this clicker right now and try to go over to the other source, and we will, there we go, 44 in Albany tomorrow and down to around 50 in the city. 22 to 27 overnight tonight, variably cloudy. It is already cold out there. A mix of sun and clouds for tomorrow. High temperatures only around 44. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy and cold. Overnight low temperatures tomorrow night down to 27. And then as we work our way into Tuesday, we'll see a mix of sun and clouds, a little bit more mild, 50. Then we'll see some showers in here for Wednesday and 57. For Thursday, morning showers giving way to partly cloudy skies, 49. 49 on Friday and 48 on Saturday. So Wednesday's the day to keep an eye out for the showers, but no significant weather systems really affecting us this week, just some cold weather.
And the clicker's just too cold to work anymore.
That's something else.
All right, thank you, Steve. Well, it is week number 9 in the NFL and was a win in the cards for the Jets. Stay tuned. Donna's up next with all the NFL action and a look at the new $6 million man on the Lynx. The tail of the tiger is next.
And now, sports with Donna Fendrick.
Welcome back, folks. The Giants had a bye week this week, as did the Patriots, so both teams sat home and watched their division foes shake, rattle, and roll on the field today. And the Jets didn't exactly shake, rattle, and roll today against Arizona, but with an extra week to prepare, taking on Dave Brown instead of Jake Plummer, who was out with a broken finger, was in the Jets' favor. A moment of silence was held before each game today in honor of Walter Payton, who passed away Monday due to liver cancer. Now, the Cards looked good early on. Don't remember Dave Brown doing this in New York, do you? In the second quarter, Brown hits Rob Moore with the 71-yard pass, and that sets up this 4-yard run by Michael Pittman. He's in. Cards led 7-3. Meanwhile, Mo Lewis and the Jets defense kept it close, sacking Brown 6 times in the game. And finally, Rick Meyer got the offense going right here, hitting Keyshawn Johnson with a 43-yard touchdown pass with 5 minutes to play. And the Jets win 12-7, 295 yards passing for Meyer. Curtis Martin rushed for 131 yards. Jets win and are now 2-6 on the season. Now to Washington, where Stephen Davis got the Skins out to a 7-0 lead with his league-leading 12th touchdown run, but Doug Flutie had his favorite target, Eric Mould, back for this one, and they hooked up here for a 15-yard strike. Flutie looked like Flutie again, as the Bills offense looked terrific today, beating the Skins 34-17 and improving to 6-3 on the season. A half game behind the second-place goal to today, won for the 4th straight time. It sure did look like Peyton's place again today in Indy. Manning extended the streak of touchdown passes to 21 games with that TD pass to Edgar and James, who also rushed for 109 yards, as the Colts beat the Chiefs 25-17 and are now 6-2 on the season. Detroit defeated the Rams today in a battle of division leaders. Johnny Morton's 12-yard touchdown catch with 28 seconds to play in the game was the difference in this one, as Detroit hands the Rams their second loss of the year, while the Lions now 6-2 on the season. Obviously an emotional day for the Bears today at Lambeau Field. The day began with a moment of silence for lifetime Chicago Bear Walter Payton, and then ended with Ryan Longwell's 27-yard field goal attempt right here, blocked by the Bears as time expired, giving Chicago the 14-13 win over Green Bay at Lambeau Field. The Ravens returned to Cleveland for the first time since leaving and crushed the Browns 41-9. The Broncos beat the Chargers 33-17. Olandis Gary had 2 TDs for the Broncos. Mark Brunell tossed 3 touchdowns as the Jags beat the Falcons 30-7. Carolina blows by the Eagles 33-7. The Bucks beat the Saints 31-16. Jerome Bettis ran for 2 touchdowns as the Steelers romped over San Francisco. John Kitna threw 3 touchdowns as Seattle defeated the Bengals, and Miami leads Tennessee right now at 17-0 with less than 2 minutes to play in that game. Now to the Lynx, where Tiger has been simply great. Really, the tale of this Tiger, 4 straight wins. Now, despite a triple bogey on 17, Tiger and Miguel Jimenez went to a sudden death playoff, and on the first playoff hole, Woods sinks the 10-foot bird to beat Jimenez, winning $1 million and becoming the first golfer since Ben Hogan in 1953 to win 4 straight tournaments. It's Woods' 8th win of the season, and he now is the newest $6 million man. The Winston Cup circuit made its weekly pit stop today at the Phoenix International Speedway for the Duralube 500. John Andretti had the pole for the first time this season, but the rookie ruled today. Yes, rookie Tony Stewart matched the late Davey Allison's rookie record of 2 wins on the season by winning today's race. Points leader Dale Jarrett finished 6th and can wrap up the title by finishing 8th or better in next week's inaugural Pennzoil 500. The Rangers have struggled so far this season. They were 4 games under 500 entering tonight's game in Chicago. And while things haven't been clicking for the Rangers, tonight things clicked just fine. New York scored twice in the first period. Here, Peter Nedved's goal makes it 2-0 Rangers, and that proved to be the game winner, folks, as the Rangers beat the Blackhawks the final 3-1 in Chicago. Elsewhere around the league, Washington beat Carolina 3-2. Tampa Bay used the same score to beat Detroit, while the Mighty Ducks beat the Oilers 3-1. In the NBA, Keith Van Horn had 25 points, 18 boards as the Nets beat the Wizards. Also tonight, Toronto beat Charlotte. Suns beat the defending champs by 3. In men's college basketball, Hudson Valley won its first game of the year, a 2-point win over Canton. And in women's college basketball, in the final of the Disney Tip-Off Classic in Orlando, St. Rose over Columbus State, the final 67-55. 2. The college gridiron, where Florida State remains atop the Associated Press poll. The rest of the top 5 has changed. That's because this 32-yard field goal by Dan Nystrom, as time expired yesterday, gives Minnesota, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, I should say, the 24-23 huge upset win over then number 2 Penn State. So not a lot of happy Lions in Happy Valley as Penn State drops in the poll while Virginia Tech moves up a notch to number 2. Tennessee is ranked 3rd, followed by Florida, Kansas State, and Penn State rounds out the top 5.
Never good when you have an unhappy lion on your hands.
And you know that for sure.
That's right. I've had experience. Okay. Thanks, Donna. Coming up, a helping hand reaches in from space, so stay tuned and meet the newest robot on the block. Just a quick visual reminder that part 2 of Shake, Rattle, and Roll will be on Wednesday night. Finally, the trifling tasks in space may soon be a thing of the past, all thanks to NASA's latest newfangled robonaut. The pseudo-human was built to perform hazardous or mundane tasks on the space station, but its impressive hand-eye coordination has grabbed the interest of doctors, who imagine the possibilities for patients who need a helping hand. Several companies are also expressing interest in the robonaut to do other jobs right here on Earth, like maybe taking out the garbage or getting the morning paper, or maybe making coffee. Quick note from Donna on the New York Marathon.
Yes, great day today. Joseph Chebet of Kenya, the winner, also won the Boston Marathon this year. So that's that.
All right, forecast?
We'll see a mix of sun and clouds for tomorrow. High temperatures only again in the mid-40s, so it's going to be another cold one tomorrow. A little bit of a warm-up for Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, that'll do it for us tonight. Home improvement is up next. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.